our camera guy. Let's get Jen Cox an award. Please rise. I call this meeting to order of the Monongalia County Board of Education, May 13th. It is 5 p.m. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming out. All right. First thing on our agenda, we're going to switch it up a little bit here. We're going to do the Golden Horseshoe winners first. And let's see here. Okay, the Golden Horseshoe is a long-standing West Virginia tradition dating back to 1931 that honors 8th grade students who excel in West Virginia history. And congratulations to the following 2025 Golden Horseshoe winners. And we're going to go through them individually. So first one is Jake DeVault from Mountaineer Middle.
Come up here, Jake.
Jake, how about right here?
Yeah, right here.
Can we get a picture?
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to have your principal come up too. Once you, well, we have another one from Mountaineer Middle. So.
We can take the picture.
I told you guys you were the teasing too.
Good job. Don't go away, Mr. Rogers. Next is Hadley Evans, Mountaineer Middle. Mr. Rogers, would you like to say a few words? You want to say a few words?
Where's it at?
Right here.
Just pick it up.
You want to talk?
Oh, not really, but I will.
Use the microphone though, because it's recorded.
These are two wonderful children, and they don't only excel at Golden Horseshoe, they excel at everything. Very proud to be their principal, very proud to have both of them inside of my school. And I know one of them is probably ready to get out here to go to a tournament game here in a second. So do appreciate your time. Thank you for having them tonight.
Thank you. Okay, our next two students are from South Middle School. Uriah Gray.
Nariah is not only a star in social studies, she's also a star on track and field. So Nariah is currently watching online. So hello, Nariah. Thank you so much for all that you do. Continue to strive in school and on the track. So she is supposedly watching, if she's not high jumping right now, from Milan Park in the Mon County Championship. So another round of applause for Nariah. We're very proud of her.
Board Member Smith will have her plaque taken, have a picture.
Going to hand deliver it to Milan Park.
Okay, next is Emma Bond from South.
Mrs. Brown.
And Mrs. Brown is here. I think I was going to say, I thought I saw you come in. And Emma, you're welcome to say anything you want.
She's so excited to say
Yeah. Mrs. Brown? Mrs. Brown, would you
No.
have some words?
Just do it.
You can carry it with you.
It just records, it doesn't
Just
project.
records.
There we go. Thank you.
Doesn't get
See,
it
I've
out.
just learned how to use a mic, so. No, I'm really proud of the girls. We have really hardworking students with our West Virginia History Bowl, with our Golden Horseshoe. They work really hard. They study. They're just great students. I'm so proud to have them a part of our South Stallions. So congratulations.
Okay, next we have Suncrest Middle. Theodore Ziotis. Is Theodore here? Yes. And I have a statement to read here from Mrs. Hicks.
Do we have two?
We have two of them. Yeah, I'll wait till the second one, then we'll read the statement. Very good.
Awesome.
You have any words of wisdom you want to say?
No, not really.
Then we have Harper Matheny.
I had to pick this one, Harper. I had to make sure that I got to give Harper.
You did.
Can you hold the flag?
Mrs. Hicks was unable to be with us, but she sent a statement, so we'll read it. I'm very proud of our students' dedication to learning the history of the great state of West Virginia. We are honored to have you represent our school and the county in the Golden Horseshoe Archives. Additionally, Mrs. Adams is a passionate teacher who brings the history of West Virginia to life. She captivates her students with rigorous, relevant lessons that make learning fun and engaging. Congratulations to you all, Mrs. Hicks. Okay, the last one is Westwood Middle School. Leonidas? Is that right? Yeah, grammar. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Did I get your name close?
Yeah, you did, perfect.
He was going to tell you that.
Uh-huh. Ms. Cimarelli is the principal.
Very proud of Leo. According to his teachers, he's just a delight to have in class. Not only does he excel academically, but they say he's a joy to teach because of who he is. He carries himself with a silent confidence and is just an all-around great person. So we're very proud of him.
Okay. Oh, just,
Sorry, I'm Mr. Marcus. I teach West Virginia history.
there you go.
It's the teachers who motivate and educate, and it's the students who perform in excellence. I just want to say I'm proud of Leo.
Awesome.
Very good. Thank you. Okay, I think that's all of them. So you guys can go do homework. Or track meet or whatever.
Or stay here. It's up to you.
Yeah, you can stay here.
See you, Emma. See you, Harper.
Okay, next up we have the 2025-26 Service Person of the Year. The 2025-26 Service Person of the Year is Mr. Charles Darr, Mr. Chuck, an autism mentor at Skyview Elementary. Principal Jen Cox nominated Mr. Chuck for his dedication, work ethic, passion for supporting students, and exceptional needs. So, Mr. Chuck, is Mr. Chuck here?
Yes, he is.
All right. And if Ms. Cox would come up too,
Yes.
the principal. A longer walk to get up.
Could hand it over.
Yeah.
Much smarter, not harder, right?
Congratulations.
Congrats,
Oh,
Mr.
Ms.
Chuck.
Cox wants to say something. You can say something too.
Absolutely. Mr. Chuck was a blessing from the moment he walked into Skyview. I'm going to just tell your little story. He started off working for FedEx and retired from FedEx, got bored, retired. Plus, I think he was driving his wife a little bit crazy, who was back there. And he decided that he was going to come work for the school system. And he has done nothing but bring love, confidence, caring, and everything to our school staff. There's not a job he won't do. And there's not a smile that he cannot bring to anyone's face. And our students with exceptional special needs adore him, as we all do. So we're just happy to have him be part of our team. Thanks, Mr. Chuck.
You're welcome to say a few words.
All right, thank you. Yeah, it's elementary school is, these kids make me laugh every day before 9 a.m. I mean, it is a joy to come to work. You know, some people look at Fridays as the day to, you know, you're working for Friday to go to the weekend, you know. In this job, if it's Monday or Friday, I'm up before my alarm. I love coming to watch these kids and watch them excel. And these teachers have such a hard job. And Mrs. Cox has such a great team at Skyview that allows me to go in and have fun with these kids. Now, at 50-some years old, it's tough getting on the floor and getting back up every once in a while, you know. So, but they keep me moving, and I love these kids, and I'm blessed and grateful for this recognition, and you know, just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Congratulations. Thank you.
More fun than FedEx, huh?
What's that?
More fun than FedEx.
Yeah. So you get to enjoy Christmas. 25 years ago, with my wife. She was a single mother for 25 years.
Go ahead and introduce your wife.
This is my wife, Leah. You know,
Hi, Leah.
Support and motivation, and just anything about her. You know, my daughter's in college now, and without her, you know, that's what strives me to keep going. You know?
Good for you.
It's getting great. I'm blessed to have a great family.
Keep it up. Thank you. All right. Next up, we have delegations. I'll read the guidelines for our delegations. Speakers are requested to express themselves in a civil manner with due respect to the dignity and privacy of others who may be affected by your comments. While it is not our intent to stifle public comment, speakers should be aware that if your statements violate the rights of others under the law of defamation or invasion of privacy, you may be held legally responsible. If you are unsure of legal ramifications of what you're about to say, we urge you to consult a legal advisor. Monongalia County Schools Board Policy 0169, public participation in board meetings state that you may speak no more than 5 minutes if there are 12 or fewer delegations. After 12, the amount of time that you may speak will be determined by taking the number of delegations and dividing it by 60 minutes. And like I said, you can say whatever you want, but you may open yourself up to legal ramifications. So with that said, we only have one. It's April Rowan. Please come to the podium there.
I sent an email to all 5 board members and Mr. Campbell last Wednesday. Didn't receive anything. Before that, I sent 2 emails to Jennifer Carradine about the situation, trying to talk to me so that I didn't have to be here in front of that. But I understand that some of you did not receive that email. I do have hard copies if you guys would like a hard copy of that email so that you could read that. After hearing the whole legal ramification thing, I'm not sure my whole spiel just went out the window, to be honest with you. But I'm here as a concerned citizen of Monongalia County, not a disgruntled ex-employee. I lost my job due to this safety reason. I want to be one of the people that helps you all make this route safe. I was trained to have a pre-K card for every pre-K that I drop off at a stop, that the parents have to show that pre-K card. Kindergarten parents must be at the steps of my bus. 1st through 3rd grade, I can see an adult. Grandma can be standing on the porch waving. Great. I know someone's there to receive that child. April 14th, I was hired as a full-time employee for Monongalia County for a bus route. Once going to this bus route, I found that I couldn't do my job safely. I went to my supervisors to try to do something. And I stated that I could not do this without someone else on the bus safely, because one, I feared for my life. That morning, as you can see if you would pull the videotapes, we had kids from the back of the bus winging Skittles at each other. Oh, that's just minor. Pick your battles. We had a student throw a Powerade bottle that busted off the window that missed some kid's head. Again, you're being too strong-headed, April. Pick your battles. Be prepared for the afternoon. It's going to get worse. So that afternoon, I went, and it was chaos. I showed up at this stop. I have 36 to 52 students on my bus at one stop. I had 5 adults and a 6th grader to receive all 36 to 52 students off that bus. My training, absolutely not. I can't do that. I need to see a parent. Well, where you've got parents screaming at me, absolutely not. I'm not doing my job right. You never do this, absolutely not. So I see a parent coming around the front of my bus cussing me. She comes up on my bus, and as she's coming up on my bus, I will kill you if you try to hold my child hostage again. Okay, again, check the cameras. I'm at a loss. I end up calling for base. For some reason, they didn't hear me. So she then states, well, that's it. You'll not do this again. So all these parents are still telling me, will you let our kids off this bus? So I let the kids off the bus against my better judgment. The last 2 little boys coming up the aisle look like they're scared to death. Boys, what grade you in? 2nd. I said, where's mommy and daddy? Do you see them? Oh, they're not here. Where do you go? Up there. Pointed to an apartment upstairs. The parents, the 3 or 4 parents that's still standing there, is telling me, see, they know what to do. Let them off the bus. So I let them off the bus. But guess what? Now, a disgruntled father across the thing kidnaps these kids. God only knows, I can speculate what to do. Who's that going to come back on? I'm going to lose my job because I was trained to do a job and I did not do it correctly. Why did I not do it correctly? Because I was told not to do it correctly. I have text messages. I have emails that I have tried. Did I lose my job? Yes, I did. Because I feel that I was forced to resign.
Okay, you're out of time right now, unfortunately, but can you sum it up in just a few seconds?
I want this. I'm willing to meet with all of you. I'm willing to meet with whoever will listen. We need to get this route changed. We need an 8 on that bus immediately. Because if we don't get an 8 on that bus, I'm telling you, you guys aren't going to have to worry about little April Rowan who lost her job and you think I'm a disgruntled employee, ex-employee, because no. You guys are going to have a lawsuit because a kid's going to come up amiss.
Okay,
or
we'll have
worse.
to stop because by law, we have to do these things and we can't respond to any of
Okay,
it
right.
because of the sunshine law.
So I'm asking, please, you all have my information. If you want to see a hard copy of my email, I will hand it to you right now.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Can I request a copy of that email?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
You should have.
because I didn't get an email. I've got a confusing address, so. Thank you.
Anyone else?
You can leave them at the desk,
Okay.
if you don't mind. Thank you.
Okay, next up, approval of proposed 2025-26 budget.
Before we do that, I would ask that our treasurer make her way to the microphone. She has a brief presentation on the budget for you before I make my recommendation. So, Madam Treasurer?
Thank you. Good
Nicole
evening.
Combs. For the record.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Each County Board of Education must prepare a proposed budget for the upcoming fiscal year. After the proposed budget is approved tonight, it will be made publicly available. On May 27th, the board will hold a public hearing and then officially adopt the budget. The board maintains 4 funds. The first one that we will discuss tonight will be the General Current Expense Fund or the Operating Fund. The operating budget for fiscal year '26 is $176,304,922. The revenue is comprised of taxes, regular levy of $36.4 million, excess levy of $35.6 million, local sources of $4.2 million, state sources $91.3 million, Medicaid billing $500,000, indirect costs from federal grants $206,000, and estimated unrestricted beginning balance of $8 million. As we compare these numbers to fiscal year '25 budget numbers, you will see our taxes have decreased by over $8 million. Again, this was because of the decrease in valuation for oil and gas. Our basic state aid did increase by $4.6 million. This was the addition of the third grade aides, as well as we are made whole for the general taxes that have been reduced. We are not made whole with the excess levy taxes. Our PIA allocation went up by $1.8 million. This was to account for the 14% increase in premiums. And then you will see that our charter school allocation increased by $961,828. In your packets that you have, I have provided enrollment figures and state aid to each of the charter schools for your review. And as we look at the revenues by source, 52% of our budget is comprised of state sources, regular levy of 21%, and excess levy of 20%. Also in your packet, I have provided a sheet that shows what expenses are included in each category and object. As you can see, instruction makes up 54.23% of our general fund budget, followed by operation and maintenance of facilities of 10.45%, and then student transportation of 8.73%. And then as we compare this to fiscal year '25 budget, you will see decreases in most of the categories. For the general administration, you will see an increase. Our Board of Risk premium has increased by $165,000 for next year. Community Services has also increased. This is mostly comprised of our pre-K collaboratives. There may be a new one joining us for the upcoming year. And again, on the on-behalf payments to charter schools, it increased by $961,000, a 40.53% increase from the previous year. As we look at the expenditures by object, 79% is representative of salary and employee benefits. This is in line with what the West Virginia Department of Education requires, followed by supplies of 7% and other purchased services of 6%. Some highlights for the 2026 budget year. This is the third year for the Third Grade Success Act. We are hiring 34 additional third grade aides, interventionists. Our PIA increased by 14%. We are 125 employees over formula. We were previously 100 over. We are able to continue All Kids Eat for Free. But what is not included in this budget is our summer avalanche for the summer of 2026. We will be watching our carryover for the end of this year to see if we will have funds available to fund that for fiscal year 26-27. And then looking ahead to fiscal year 27, we will be monitoring our student enrollment because that impacts our student aid, or state aid, the PIA, charter school, Hope Scholarship impact, Our excess levy is up for renewal May of 2026. We will be having a work session on May 27th board meeting, and then any legislative changes. The second fund that the board maintains is the Special Revenue Fund. This accounts for all of our state and federal grants that are legally restricted. The budget for this is $21,576,761. Maybe. I can't get it to the.
Teresa will fix it for you.
She's trying, I can
Yeah,
tell.
I think it froze.
Yeah.
We
It
had
might
some
be the-
issues today with the internet.
Yeah, I was
so-
gonna say it might be the internet.
Just doesn't want to play nice, does it?
Yeah, we can finish.
Okay.
They got,
They
board
have it
members
on there,
all
okay.
That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah, so under the Special Revenue Fund, the estimated revenues are comprised of local sources of 19,000, state sources, state aid to schools, 64,000, and then other, which would be other state grants, 2.4 million. Federal sources are 13.8 million. If we look at the Special Revenue Fund by category, instruction represents 48.10% of the budget, followed by food service of 38.59%. And then if you look at the pie chart for the Special Revenue Fund, you will see salaries and employee benefits represent 72% of the budget, with supplies at 21%. The third fund that we maintain is the Permanent Improvement Fund. That is where we account for all of our capital improvements. That budget for '26 is $25,283,270. The Permanent Improvement Fund state sources are the School Building Authority of $7.1 million, and then we have reserves of a little over $18 million. The improvement projects that we have for fiscal year '26 are the MIP Mountain View Safe School Entrance, Needs MTech STEM Expansion, Needs Suncrest Middle School, MIP MHS Cafeteria Upgrade, Westwood Middle School Turf, and MHS Sewer Upgrade. And then the final fund is the Debt Service Fund, and that accounts for the principal and interest on our bonds. That budget is for 2026 is a little over $3 million. Revenues are comprised of property taxes of $2.9 million, other local sources, which are our pilot funds of $70,000, and then beginning balance of $100,000, and then debt service payment a little over $3 million. And that's it. Questions?
On the debt service fund, the other local sources, where does
Is the
that?
pilot.
That's why it looked like it was similar to that number.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions?
Nicole, for the board, you need them to approve
Yes.
the budget this evening.
That is correct.
So with that said, the superintendent recommends that the board approve the proposed fiscal year 2025-2026 budget as presented.
I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second. Any questions?
None.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Thank you, Nicole.
Great job, Nicole.
Thank you.
I do want to publicly thank Nicole for the work she does on the budget. I get to firsthand witness the work that she does, and I know that this was an absolutely difficult year for her to be able to get us to the point where we are right now. We have been for many years very lucky financially, and we are starting to see the repercussions of some of the negative things that are taking money away from public education. I think it's an interesting fact. Monongalia County Schools has the highest enrollment for charter schools of all 55 counties, which then means that we have the most money coming out of our budget than any other county in the state of West Virginia. And that is something very difficult for us to have to work with. And I honestly don't foresee that getting any better in the near future. But Nicole, you did miraculous work this time around, and thank you to Nicole and the entire administrative staff for tightening up the buckle so that they could get us a good budget for next year. So.
It was a joint effort.
That's a huge hole to fill. All right. Next, we have school performances, student outcomes, and academics, curriculum audit, elementary. Mrs. Talarico, Deputy.
Backed by
Superintendent.
popular demand.
Yes.
And I hope we can get you up and running, but I don't think we're going to.
I have a feeling because today is the heaviest day in the state of West Virginia for the internet usage. It's testing that's occurring, and this was the big day. So I have a feeling it's just worn out and has decided to go to sleep. So,
Like me.
yes, so I get that too. I feel that way quite a bit. So we had a really good presentation that I would love to share. But however, nothing's going to prevent me from being here and being able to share this. This is what I call the season finale, part one, because we're going to do elementary this evening, and then in 2 weeks, we will do middle and high. There's a lot of wonderful information that I want to share, so maybe we'll get a little piece of it at least going here. So, as I said, this is really, I'm thrilled to follow up the budget and Nicole's presentation, because this presentation and the one that will follow is really going to highlight how well this Board of Education and the office here and the schools utilize the resources that we're provided. We are so very fortunate to have the support of our community, which again, as you saw clearly in that budget, helps really finance what we do. But we're very intentional about what we provide for students, and our emphasis is always on students and programs. So this evening, I want to take you back just a bit, if you will, because two of you weren't here for last year's presentation. So without trying to repeat it, I do feel like, and even if you were here, that was a year ago. There's a lot of things happening, and it's hard to remember all of this. So I am going to start and see if we can keep this going here.
Is it on? I might have.
I think it's on. Oh, good, I am here. Okay. We've been talking a lot about, in the district, and our superintendent and myself both talking about alignment. And the biggest piece of any success, and this goes back to Jim Collins's work on Good to Great, which has been around since the early 2000s. But I really anchor everything in alignment is 99% of success. And that alignment comes with the Board of Education, the governance that is provided by the Board of Education, and then, frankly, the leadership and the ability to have such great teaching staff and support staff within our schools. This is why Monongalia County Schools is an experience, and I'm going to talk about that this evening. So I started with a quote here that Jim Collins had put together from his Good to Great work. And again, I believe truly, we are relentless in what we do in Monongalia County, and that's why we do it well. I guess now I don't need these, I can use this. Okay. So these were the questions. Last year we started curriculum audits, and it was a lot for me to be able to have an opportunity to have conversations with teachers. There were no administrators in the room, no support staff as academic coaches or ed techs. This is a direct conversation with me and some members of the team that were able to be there with teachers. And last year I started that conversation with, okay, talk to me about what really is our taught curriculum in Monongalia County Schools. Not what the career standards, but talk to me about what really is our taught curriculum. Not looking at fancy lesson plans. There's no need to check those kinds of things. So this year I wanted to take it a step further. And so these were the questions that were posed ahead of time. Again, the folks that came into the rooms at each of the schools were there by choice. They were asked, do you want to do this? Because, again, it was during the day, it was during their work day, but again, it took away time from what they normally would be doing. So I spent a good hour to 15 minutes, maybe an hour and a half, with each of the teams at each of the schools over the last several months, and which leads us to here. So these are the questions that I had given them in advance, and that is, I want to hear from you, what's your school doing to make your students successful? By that, that means your school. Not what everybody else is doing. I want to hear exactly what you're talking about and what you do at your school. Secondly, the question was, let's follow that, was what do you need to do to improve that learning environment for your folks? And if you were at the table, you had to speak. That's the one thing. There's no passive. You can't say pass. You can't say, let someone else answer that. I want to hear from everyone. And I did. Folks came prepared. They had talked with their colleagues in many cases to come so they could speak not only for themselves but also for their colleagues as well. I had wonderful conversations everywhere. I'm going to get to the secondary part, and that's going to be, it really was exciting for me because I'm going to say out of all of these, and maybe it's because I'm an elementary person, I'm really comfortable with the elementary answers, but the high schools and I had the most productive conversations about real education and what we do for students that I've ever been a part of. So I can't say enough about our high schools and the teachers there. They came to have a conversation, and you'll hear more about that next month. The other question, which was more reflective, and honestly, I didn't put anybody on the spot if they wanted to talk about it, but part of our issue in public education is that we need to promote our own profession, and we need to do that from within. We can't expect other people to do it for us. And I really wanted our teaching staff to think about that. What can we do ourselves as educators to promote our own profession? That's an interesting, reflective question. And it was interesting to hear some of the responses, and I'll get into that closer to probably next week, honestly. So those are the questions I started with. So I want to go back again to what did we do from last year? And those of you who were here know some of this, and you saw all of this. These were the outcomes from last year's curriculum audit. Because we heard what we heard, we came back, Sandy DeVault, an integral part of that, and many others on the team. We came back and said, okay, we've heard all this. What are we going to do about it? We have to we have to have a response. So behavior was the huge number one issue. It's still an issue. You're still going to hear it tonight. But what we did was have Behavior Blueprint, which was a 1-week opportunity for our teachers to come together, and we had close to 400 teachers come out. Yes, we were able to pay them. Yes, we were able to give them lunch. Yes, we were able to work with Concord to give them credit if they wanted that class. And we had a wonderful response to that. So good, in fact, that we're doing Behavior Blueprint 2 this summer. Again, at the response of our teachers. Again, once you heard about it, even if you weren't there, you decided, there's something there for me. So we already, as we open up, anticipate about 500 of our teachers attending this year's session. We also did what we called the 8th grade redemption program. Let me say, I called it that. And it was in response to my middle school teachers saying, look, and the 9th grade teachers saying, you're sending students on, they're not prepared, and you're not doing anything about it. So Sandy and I walked out of South Middle School, and I looked at her and I said, okay, Sandy, we got to take action here. Sandy, thank you very much. Sandy DeVault is solely responsible for the success of that program that occurred this past summer in July. Now, that goes without saying, Sandy oversaw that. But what the schools did, those middle school teachers and the middle school administrators, they worked with their kids from February on to really say, all right, we're going to do everything we can to see that these students can pass their mastery level, ELA in math, which is what our policy says. And for the most part, we got there. We got there. There were not a lot of students that ended up in the program. Now, I'm going to say this was our lucky charm year because Sandy and the teachers that were there, and it was going to homes, it was bringing moms in, it was bringing students in, but we were able to get every student to mastery in last year's summer program. Now, when I talk about it for this year, it's going to be different and it's going to be harder. Because as we came back to it, we saw, okay, this is what we need to do, but we also need to do it at 6th, 7th, and 8th. So this summer, Sandy will be heading that program and will be doing offerings for the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students that are in jeopardy for not being able to have mastery and go on to the 9th grade, the high school. And that's what I heard from 9th grade teachers. That's what I heard from middle school teachers. So it was a great success, and we're going to repeat it, and it's going to become even more challenging. We made some changes in the master school calendar. Now Mother Nature blew that up on us this year, so I can't give a lot of kudos on that particular area. But the calendar is still great. We replicated it again for the next school year. So without any interruptions from Mother Nature, we do anticipate a really strong calendar. Our biggest accomplishment by far, and the only one in the state of West Virginia, is based on the work of Dr. Jonathan Haidt, which, The Anxious Generation. I gave you all a copy of that earlier on, and it was really something we'd heard from the high schools in particular about the distractions. So once again, are we going to do something, or are we just going to talk about it? So what we did was decide to go forward, and we were going with the blessing of the superintendent and the schools who said, yes, we're ready, let's do it, because it's going to come down hard on the schools to deal with this, and with Sandy's work on making sure that we had a mechanism to secure the phones. It's one thing to say, put your phone away, and expect teenagers to do that. And it's one thing even to say, oh, put your phone in the office. No one wants to let go of their phone. So we had to come up with a way to keep the phones within the possession of the students, but yet not being able to do that. So that's the Yonder pouches, which this board invested in. And yes, we could stand here and debate, can somebody break a pouch? Yes. Can somebody bring a second phone to school? Yes. Has all that happened? Do we have cell phone jail at our schools? Yes, we do. I think one of them is Break Heart Hotel or Heartbreak Hotel or something they have at one of the schools. And that's fine, because if we see that phone, it's coming to Heartbreak Hotel. But the first phones are in the pouches. It has worked magnificently. Yes, we had some hiccups at the beginning, and yes, we still have hiccups, but did we have responses for medical needs or for ways that a parent had to be able to access a student in some fashion? We have all of that. And we've answered all of those things. So within this state, and now we know the governor, and there is legislation about the cell phone-free environment, we are already there. We are going to go into year 2, and again, look at your lunchrooms at the high schools. Students are not here doing this. They are engaging with their classmates. Our teachers have said, hey, I can engage with the kids in my class because we can talk about your ball game coming up later when we have a minute or two that's free, and instead of the student doing this. I absolutely 100% see this as the major success in our district for this year, setting the pace for everyone moving forward. We did continue to look at more training for our staff. They asked for that. That really was embedded in Behavior Blueprint. So the training for trauma-informed classrooms, because we see it in society, and we are a mirror of what society is in our classrooms. And finally, and I want to thank absolutely Amber Nichols and Teresa Nass, because this is one of the things I'd heard, and it sort of hurt my heart a little bit last year, that we didn't do enough to reach out and support our educators. That no one says thank you enough from the district office. No one is really thinking about us on a day-to-day basis. Well, I take exception to that. We certainly are every day, but I thought there's something we could do here to try to be more demonstrative about that. So my lame idea was to come back and say, could we make a little card and have some people that said that they'll support us? And they said, Donna, let us handle it, which they did. And they did it beautifully. So they have an entire website where, how many partners do we have? Just generally, I'm putting you on the spot.
I'm guessing 36.
Yes, so as of this point, there are 36 partners out there that are saying, hey, we do support the teachers in this community. I'm going to give you a little anecdote that I heard in this year's curriculum audit, which to me was really cute, because we talked about it. I talked about it again with the teachers in the audit. And one of the teachers at one of the schools said, you know, I love that because I got to get my 10% off on getting my eyebrows done. And all the other ladies in the room said, what? Well, okay, tell me more about that. So I almost derailed the whole audit over that particular 10% discount. But there's a variety of folks that have contributed. We're always soliciting more. They have a QR code. The teachers can pull that up and look at it. So maybe it's a discount for coffee, maybe it's pizza, maybe it's your eyebrows. And all of those things are there, and they keep building that. And so that was our way, and they had the cutest title, which is BOE, and actually it's Boost Our Educators. So that is the support for all teaching professionals that's out there right now. So again, I credit them for being able to make that happen. So that's the recap. Those are things that we did as a result of last year's curriculum audit. So now, I'm going to bring you to an immersive experience because I think that's what everybody talks about here. So, yes, I have some more slides, and I'm going to keep talking, and I know I'm being timed, and that's okay. But I couldn't do it without this. I need to give you some context because you don't spend your life in elementary classrooms. Dr. Campbell was the other day at one of our schools, and when he came back, he was fatigued. So I will say that because he participated in an activity over there, and he's not as used to elementary schools as some of us are. So we did give him some insight into that. But again, thank you here, ladies, for putting together this immersive experience. This is a day in the life. It's just a sampling of lots of schools. So take just a little bit.
language arts instruction is strengthened by small group learning, co-teaching, and targeted interventions. With the implementation of UFly, our phonics instruction is systematic and the fun never stops. Whether sharing stories at lunch or playing together on the playground, our students build lasting friendships and a strong sense of belonging every day. Our students thrive through enriching opportunities in music, art, PE, Spanish, STEM, and library. Every child, every week. Our outdoor classrooms and school gardens bring learning to life beyond the walls. Back in the classroom, iReady Math provides targeted, data-driven instruction that meets students where they are and helps them grow at their own pace, building confidence, fluency, and deep mathematical understanding. Oh, and win time? Yes, it is just what every student needs. In science and social studies, students explore the world around them, making real-world connections, asking big questions, and deepening their understanding through hands-on learning and meaningful discussions. Behind it all, dedicated teams collaborate daily to ensure excellence is the standard for every student. From audit to action, Monongalia County Schools is not just improving, we are transforming, with purpose, with passion, and with pride. This is the day in the life of a student in Monongalia County, where everything is aligned for excellence. Because here, our students don't just attend school, they thrive in it.
This is why you cannot replicate by any form, any other version of public education. Monongalia County schools cannot be replicated. We do it better than anyone else, and this is what you see here. And this is just a sampling, very quick sampling of what happens every day in the elementary world in Monongalia County schools. So, I'm going to look at some highlights here quickly and then move on school by school quickly, just to bring forward to you some things that I still think are important. So these are some of the common highlights from all of our elementary schools. You walk into every school, you're going to see every elementary, all 10 of them. You're going to see relationships, you're going to see culture building, and you're going to see that those students are valued and truly loved by the teaching staff. You see the implementation of literacy strategies at the highest level with great intensity and with great fidelity, helping our students achieve in their math and their reading. Everything is data-driven. We're looking at results from assessments, from teacher-made assessments to actual assessments that help make the decisions. We do a lot of co-teaching. We have tremendous comprehensive practices that you see each and every day. The other big piece is, frankly, attendance. Our attendance now is leading the state. We have every school that has made progress in attendance. There's not one lagging school here. Some of it is better than others, but we are monitoring that very closely, and our attendance director has been very active with the schools, making certain that students come to school, because we have to have them in their seats. And then once they are there, you saw the student engagement already. That's just a sample of what that is. So, with that said, let's move on. Quickly, Brookhaven. I'd like to spend a lot of time on each of these. I'm not going to, but I want to just highlight, and you can read some of these. This is what you're going to see a lot through this, all of the schools here. They talk about a reading rodeo. That's what they call it at Brookhaven. What it really is putting students in groups based on their skill level and helping work with those students, different teachers at different times. It goes back to the whole theme of what I need. So it's based on that. What do I need to thrive as a student? So that's, and you'll see that through most of these groups. A lot of strong small group instruction. There's a lot of fluidity within the group. So you're in this group now until you've mastered that skill, and then you're in another group until that skill's been mastered. So again, strong support at that school on their the PBIS program, the positive behavioral supports. They've really invested in that at Brookhaven, and it's showing. So what do they want next? Well, they want more training with their reading program, not just for general staff, but for their special educators as well, so that they can mirror each other. And now, next year, Brookhaven will be a Title I school, so they're asking for that training to make sure they're doing everything correctly as a Title I school. Following that, Suncrest Elementary. Believe it or not, and people will ask this question, do you all teach handwriting? We absolutely teach handwriting. We are one of the few districts that teach cursive writing. If you want to read the Constitution, you have to be able to understand cursive. So we teach cursive. We're doing trainings on it, and we help our teachers, and we buy materials to do that. So yes, Suncrest again has one of the strongest attendance levels of all of our schools, and they are also mirroring what we do in the elementary grades up at the 4th and 5th grade level, and that is using small groups. I heard this at several of the schools. They were looking for things to do in kindergarten and pre-K. You did adopt a new pre-K curriculum, but what we're looking to do too at pre-K and kindergarten is to continue not just to hit the curriculum, but to provide enrichment, because we have various levels of students, as you can imagine, at each of the kindergartens. Again, that school asked for more. They wanted to work to have more time together with their special educators and their general educators. Ridgedale. Again, they are really good with their, and you heard it, it's called UFly. It's called UFly because it's out of the University of Florida literacy, but we call it UFly. And really what it is a unified program for phonics. So this is what I got from last year's meetings. I had a school using this program for phonics, a school over here using this, and we saw lots of really shiny, nice phonics programs. We need to be tight. Every school needs to have the same program. So what we did is come together. I said, which one is it, teachers? You tell me what your consensus is. And like 98% said it's UFly. So we made that effort to invest in UFly, so every school would have that program and could use it as their phonics approach. And we're seeing a difference with that. But you're seeing that there, certainly at Ridgedale. And the other piece I want to emphasize there is their related arts. They have a strong related arts program there with the music, the arts, that's truly integrated in their school. What do they want to look at? Again, this is something we saw again, you'll hear this everywhere, and it may not be on every slide, but again, support for behaviors with our littles. That is big. It is big. What they also want to do, and which we brought to the attention of our schools, that we were showing really good progress with students that were a year behind, even 2 years behind. We were getting them to level. What we weren't doing, what we were flatlining on, is, okay, what about here? We're at mastery. What are we doing to bring them beyond mastery? So I think our schools had gotten just a little bit lost in the need to bring all students up to mastery, that we were being satisfied with that level. We're not satisfied with that level. We are looking at ways to advance beyond that. They call that stretch growth, and that's what we're looking to do. Ridgedale is really committed to that. North, again, we saw a lot of really strong student-staff relationships, really good connection. But I see that everywhere, I will say that, but it certainly stood out at North. I know for a fact from North, the number of languages, the number of EL English learners is the largest. There might be a school in Berkeley County that might rival us, but I'm not even sure of that. But North has always had a large group of students who are non-English learners. And the way that all blends together there, and the way our teachers teach and how the families are involved in that school, it's really amazing to see that. And it is amazing to see a child that comes in that door, and I can speak to that personally, cannot speak one word of English. And by day 3, they can begin to speak. They can certainly talk about what's to eat and where the restrooms are. And it's amazing how these little ones become so proficient in the English language. It's truly delightful. Next year, North's going to be a Title I school, so they are wanting to make themselves current with what is available with Title I. And they want to expand their use of their professional learning communities, those we call them PLCs, and really focus on their co-teaching and their writing. They're looking at a certain writing program, which we do support. Some of the other schools are already using that, and they want to take a step into that area as well. Mason-Dixon. Mason-Dixon, as well as Mountain View and Skyview, and I can attest to that here because I'm going to say something when I get to these schools. They were unfortunately designated as what is called CSI ATS schools. That was for just a dip in special education scores at those 3 schools. So they had to live with this designation for 3 years. What it has done there, and I can say for all 3 of the schools, and I really highlighted that at Skyview here later, is what it has done. Yes, it's been a lot of work for those schools, and it's been a lot of pressure for those schools to put together everything that's required to meet the requirements in that. But what it has is bring that team commitment together. You will never see 3 tighter schools than those schools and their staff, and you're never going to see more comprehensive bell-to-bell teaching than you see at those 3 schools, because they have said, this is who we are, and we're going to show you who we are. Those 3 schools, all of them, have committed to doing that. Mason-Dixon's one example here. So again, they're looking again they've really invested in the co-teaching with Sonia Kunkel training. They are really committed to doing that, and they're doing that. They're also wanting some more phonics training for their upper grade classrooms. Cheat Lake. What they do well is they're really looking at the writing process across grade levels. And when I say that, we're talking about, all right, let's break the components of writing. All right, let's all teach about the narrative here. We're going to work on that piece of writing. And they're going to continue along that line. They are really using their data from iReady. They've invested in co-teaching. We still have a ways to go, but we're going there, and again, using their iReady data. They're trying to build their PBIS program right now. It's in its infancy, but they are working hard to do that. Again, they need to work and continue to work on their co-teaching. And to do that, they need time within their PLCs. So that's what they ask for. Moving on, Milam Park. Wonderful relationships with staff, students, and community. Again, within their schedule, they make sure that they have interventions for that's that what I need time. That's what you're seeing in all the schools. They're carving out time for that extra special intervention for students based on their need. Next year, they're realigning Title I. They've had to shift a little bit with staffing. Again, they want to make sure they're maximizing their time, building their responsive classroom, which is another model that schools choose to use, again, to keep students understanding the rules and regulations of the school. And they want to really take time, and I think this is important. This is what I heard, and it's just expressed here. After Behavior Blueprint last year, we took an hour on the last day to come together as schools and do an action plan. There wasn't enough time. It's not enough. Our teachers are saying to me, we don't have enough time to really reflect on what we've learned and then use it in our classrooms. I heard that. So we're going to make more time throughout the year. We're going to start with 2 hours of time this year at Blueprint, and then we're going to really focus on that all throughout next year. Our teachers are asking, hey, we love the training, but then we have to go to something else. And we don't have enough time to really absorb the practice and really put it in place. All right. Mountain View. Again, wonderful. This is win time at its best, what I need. They were able to go with their money that they got from the ECTS school to visit the Ron Clark School in Atlanta. And they were able to take a lot of things away from that. And when I had conversations with Angela Dickerson, she said, Donna, they have real money, Oprah money. But you don't need all that money in order to still do the practices. And they came back with lots of really good ideas to emphasize the what I need piece, and to make sure we're concentrating on celebrating our students and our staff. I think that's what Dr. Campbell got to be a part of earlier this week here. So what do they want to do? They want to continue, again, working with the co-teaching. Sonia Kunkel's work has been transformative in our schools. And I'm going to tell you, if you talk across the board to any of our folks, they're going to tell you that. I don't care what level you're at, elementary, middle, or high. And then, again, they are looking at, again, strategies for building their language. Eastwood. Eastwood has invested really everything in their real-world learning projects. So the outdoor classroom concept is something that they've really embraced. There are a lot of their PLC meetings involve working with projects that the students can do in real time. They use the good behavior game, which is part of Behavior Blueprint. Dr. Ray Jocelyn, who worked with us and goes to the school. So here's somebody who walks the talk. And he has come to our schools after doing the training at Blueprint, and he's worked with teachers in classrooms. That good behavior game has been around forever. We used it at North 25, 30 years ago, and it is still singularly one of the best programs I've seen about how to work with students. And again, the university is doing that, and they're partnering with us there. They want to expand their math resources, making sure special education has the same advantages as gen ed. Building their co-teaching. Have time to work with our teachers and make sure we're all doing the work as it should be. And so they really focused on that. Skyview, sitting here, I'm embarrassed to speak because I got the principal right here, and yes, I am nervous right now. Again, I want to say the best school that I saw, and not because she's sitting here, as far as using the time, every second of every minute and every hour is utilized based on the needs of students. They don't lose a second in a transition time. That's hard to do. You know, you come in from recess, you have a few extra minutes, you may be just a little slower about it. Come back from lunch, you know, you have a little time. Not over at Skyview. They are scheduled in a good way, and that is what I mean by that. Everybody knows what their job is, and they know how to do it, and they are doing it just like that. So they maximize their instructional time, the best I've seen this year. They're really invested in the co-teaching, the UFly, and using their data from iReady. Next steps, again, what every teacher says, we need more support with behaviors and emotional support for students. Yes, we'd like to have some more training with our math manipulatives here. And again, they're working constantly to boost the parent engagement activities at that school. All right. I got to the end. Okay. So next steps here. This is what our takeaways were. We want to make sure we've strengthened and tightened our instructional resources that we have, that we are using them with fidelity, make sure that we're providing that collaboration opportunity for our staff, continue to work on the behavioral supports daily, making sure we're supporting all learners, and then again, what girds that is the professional development training. So with that, I'm closing with the same slide I I opened with. Again, we want to be great. I want to be great. Dr. Campbell tells me that every day, so he's certainly...
He's already great.
Well, I was going to tell him, keep working. But.
So we want Monongalia County schools to be great all the time. We know we're good, but we want to be great consistently. So thank you for your time this evening. I will be back in 2 weeks with the second part of that season finale.
Return engagement.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for doing
Anybody have any questions?
Thank you, Donna, that was wonderful.
Yes, thank you.
I wanted to comment on, you talked about the different languages that are spoke, as you know, on the MPO transportation side of that. I always say that's the children, but those parents are out there driving around learning from other countries to this country, so it gets interesting at times. Thank you again. Consent agenda. You're on.
We are down to the consent agenda. Superintendent recommends that the board approve the consent agenda as presented to include items A, expenditures exceeding $3,000. Item B, the payment of salaries and accounts payable. Item C are the field experiences. Item D is our Nike BSN Sports agreement with Clay Battelle High School. Item E is the WVU Excel Internship Practicum Agreement. Item F is the WVU Music Therapy Practicum Agreement. Please strike item G. I don't know if you noticed, but that is a repeat of item E. They're identical, so we don't need to approve the same document twice. So please strike item G. Item H are the minutes of your April 29th, 2025 board meeting. Item I is the Early Childhood School Readiness Report for Term 2. Item J is the Early Head Start April Report. And finally, item K is the Head Start Monthly Report for April.
Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved?
Second.
Discussion, follow-up, comments? Thank you. And all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Board updates. Anybody have any?
Yes, I have one. I got a message from Mrs. Lindsay Smalls, who teaches at Westwood, and they did really well, and I'm going to read this because I asked her, what is this? It's called Plant the Moon, and so she gave me a good explanation. It refers to a global science experiment often called the Plant the Moon Challenge, where students and researchers attempt to grow plants in a simulated lunar soil to study how crops could potentially grow on the moon, essentially testing the feasibility of lunar agriculture. It's a citizen science project aimed at helping NASA understand plant growth in extreme conditions, often involving designing experiments and recording data on plant growth in the lunar soil substitute. Mrs. Smalls from Westwood Middle is in her third year competing with the Plant the Moon Challenge. This is her second team to win a Best in Show award for the state of West Virginia. This year's group, the Space Cadets, I've had some of those kids in the past, but I don't think it was for this. Space Cadets received a Best in Show award last week in the middle school category. Members of that team include Annabella, Lily, Alex, Adelaide, Anna, Anna Marie, Estella, and Audrey, all sixth grade students at Westwood Middle School. So I just want to give a special recognition for that. I think that is phenomenal. So hats off to those students and Mrs. Smalls.
Awesome.
Very good. Great.
I got to visit Mason-Dixon last week. That was a good visit. Always love driving 45 minutes out to the west side. And, it was great. UHS had their FFA group had their plant sale the last 2 weekends. So that's always good. They do that for Mother's Day, so you can get yourself some hanging plants. And Went to Miller's too, but also went to the FFA, to UHS. And I got to go to visit one of my favorite principals at Skyview for Career Day. So that was, Jen Cox got it going on, man. She really knocked it out of the park. Racer X, I got to go with them. They brought some dirt bike, and they gave away free High Point tickets, $35 per pop, to all the kids who visited for Career Day. So they're willing to help any other elementary schools too to visit. I think that's cool that there was fire department, police department. There was a lady who was talking about fitness. So you had a bunch of different people, and then you had a dirt bike too. So I mean, it was killer cool. So great job. And Donna's right. They were on time, man. Boom, boom, boom. Nice little cadence. So.
And that family, Racer X's, trickled back down Mon County.
Yeah, it's
Their
cool.
products, Mon County products.
Yeah, it's really neat.
Good deal. I guess not last Saturday before that, I spent time with the legislative issues of public education. So that was a whole day worth of, here's what we know right now. And at the end, they were like, we don't know what the legislature's going to do next. So it's probably going to change. And I think it changed before it got to their meeting from that point. But anyway, it's well worth the effort of learning what not to do, so to speak. But other than that, I have an MPO meeting Thursday evening, 6, and Dan will be there covering our TV part of it. So, anybody else?
I will be going tomorrow, and maybe Sean is, and if anybody else is around. MTech is doing their signing day, which is really awesome because it's, our kids who are placed in jobs before they graduate sign on with their employer. So it's just an awesome experience to watch these kids. And they get really cool jobs. I remember a kid last year was going into the Marines, Navy, I can't remember. But to do some welding underwater, which was
Navy.
Wow, that was so cool.
Really good money in the welding underwater.
Welding underwater in the Marines? Navy. Maybe the Navy. I can't remember.
Almost as lucrative
But it was
as underwater basket weaving.
Well, yeah. Probably a little better. So,
That's a
very
college joke, I think.
But it's fun to watch kids get recognition for jobs that they've worked hard to be part of. So.
Okay, policy review. We have nothing to review.
No, we
of course, here. Personnel matters, personnel list.
We do. I do have one change to our regular personnel list for this evening. If you look at page 4 on line 13, please delete the name SAP Brittany. With that one deletion, the superintendent recommends that the board approve the personnel list as presented this evening.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion, questions, follow-ups? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. We have no new positions, I presume.
We do not.
So we go personnel list addendum.
And no changes there. Superintendent recommends that the board approve the personnel list addendum as presented this evening.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Questions?
I got a sad retirement on there, but I guess good.
Yeah.
Good for him.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, the same. Motion carries. I want to recognize our dynamic duo over there that got everything going for Donna.
Yes.
Did you guys go? Okay, anything else? Next board meeting is May 27th, 5 p.m. We are adjourned.